totally. We had a great conversation last week with the professor of ecology, and he talked about how fundamentally we no longer see ourselves as a part of nature, and it's this separation from nature, and nature has this kind of natural inflow. It is. You don't go out and see a tree striving to get taller. It just does its thing. And I think that's the challenge of human life, is that so many of us are striving, me included, striving to do this, to do this, to this. And how does one strike that balance between one striving or manifesting, whichever angle you want to do, but also at the same time surrendering to the will of life, the will of God, wherever you're meant to be taken? How does one strike a balance between that? Because you're someone right now who's moved over to Portugal with the goal of finding peace and more joy. And at the same time, you listen to Million Dreams, because there's a million dreams that you want to achieve too. So how do you find that balance?
And at the same time, you have a house and a mortgage. So you feel like there is an aspect of responsibility in terms of capitalism and being able to pay the bills. And it's how much do you need to let go? Do you need to let go of everything? Because I think of myself and I go, yes, I love it. I'm all in on this, Gerry. I'm all in. I want peace and joy fundamentally. But then I go, oh crap, I've got a house, I've got a wife, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got children. And I adore them all. And how do I balance all this amongst the business, which I adore? And if I focus purely on my, it's just understanding there must be many layers to this. And I'd love to unpack this a bit more.
We've been told what to think. We've been told what to study from the moment we go to school. We're given a curriculum and we're told what to study. We're not taught how to think. I was lucky enough that I took 4 years to study philosophy. And after coming out of the normal school system where you're told A versus B, you're told the answers all the time. And philosophy is just quiet. And my head was gone bananas. Where's the answer? Well, I want to be right. I want to get an A in my philosophy. We need to be trained how to think, how to deconstruct information to see, is it true? Is it credible? Is it real? The amount of misinformation, the amount of mistruths that are being propagated left, right, and center from food companies, from medicine companies, from social media companies, and we just consume because we're caught in a fight or flight mode. And our prefrontal cortex is switched off. We just accept everything at an emotional level. We respond to everything. So the first thing is we need students and children that are trained to think clearly, to decipher information, to break it down, to understand. Secondly, we need to understand that every single human being is different. There is no such thing as a good job. So the good job for Steve is a different job to Dave maybe. And what Dave will love doing is totally different to Gerry. But school kind of tells us there's such things as a good job. So now we have this idea that human beings are generic. So if I go to my doctor, he tells me your average 44-year-old. But am I your average 44-year-old? If you were to do my body mass index, if you were to look at my lifestyle, if you were to look at, am I average? Or are you talking to me? So now the problem is in society, we talk about generic numbers, generic people and averages, but nobody fits the average. There was a great statistic a number of years ago. The Royal Air Force noticed that a lot of their airplanes were crashing and they couldn't figure out what this was for. So they retrained all the pilots, they looked at all the technology, they kept testing, and the planes keep crashing. Eventually, one pilot crashed, but he managed to survive. So they now could talk to him. And he said, as the plane was somersaulting, as I was performing the maneuver, I went to move and I couldn't move. My knee got jammed. The cockpit is the wrong size. And they all kind of laughed for a few minutes until they asked the question, well, who decided the cockpit? The cockpit was based for the average male of that age. They lined up 1,000 pilots that had signed up and been trained by the Royal Air Force. And out of the 1,000 pilots, not one of them fitted the average specifications.
Wow.
That's true. So when we look at all the numbers that we're thrown at in life, about good jobs, you need to take this you need to do 10,000 steps, you need to take 5 milligrams of this. For who? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to average Joe, some nondescript magnolia version of a human being? Or are you talking to me, who has my dreams, my ambitions, my story, my traumas, my lived history? So the second step is we need to teach people how to think, really how to decipher information, because there's a lot of stuff out there right now that we need to just cut through. The second is you got to think for me. Who am I? What do I want? What's my life about? And now we have the ability to sit with anybody from a college professor to a career guidance teacher to a doctor and say, are you talking about genetic metrics or are you talking to me? How well do you know me? Now we have people who can think and act for themselves on their own truth. And the more we become clear on who I am and what my truth is, then as long as my truth makes sense to me, I don't need you to accept it. I don't need you to believe in my beliefs. And if you choose to believe in something else or express a different truth, that's okay. We can still be friends. I've a very strong Christian belief, and I've lots of great friends who have absolutely no interest in religion, and they think I'm nuts. But we still connect at a deep level, because what makes us different is far less than what makes us the same. So we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people. Stop thinking about the average person, the average life. You're not average. You're you. No one has ever existed as you before, and nobody will ever exist as you again. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you are a once in a universe phenomenon. So who are you? What is your life about? What do you dream about? What are your values? And who actually is stopping you? And deep down, the only person stopping any one of us is ourselves. And it's either a fear that we're not enough, a fear of being wrong, or a fear of being seen to be different to everybody else.
They're nice. I like those fears. And how do we unpack those fears then? You know, because if you kind of go, right, well, you know, right, I'm me, I'm not everyone else, I'm not average. You know, I'm, as you say, I'm once in a lifetime, except I do have an identical twin.
You're 99.999
So I'm kind
recurring
of like
the same as me.
I don't know if well, of course it doesn't apply. We're just you know, anyway. But so there is all these fears, and even if I take it to myself, I go, right, I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of letting mom and dad down. I'm afraid of the happy pair failing. I'm afraid of, you know, there's these fears that are inherently there. I'm afraid of not being a good father and providing for my family. You know, there's these fears, and how do you go about unpacking them within yourself, like that you can, even doing what you're doing now, like?
I think first is to go back at the major decisions you made in your life about your career, your partner, different big decisions, and ask, what was the main driving factor behind that? Was it love or fear?
Always love.
Did I make that decision because I believed the ultimate expression of myself, or did I believe because it was safe, it was right in front of me? Ask yourself, what did you dream of working at when you were 8 years old? Is that what you're doing right now? And where along the path did possible become impossible? Who told you that was impossible? So where at times, when you made big decisions, now you begin to unpack, in the top 5 decisions I've made, it was either safety I was actually bound to, or it was my parents. And in the Hindu tradition, they talk a lot about bowing. So when they bow to each other in the Western world, we're told, stands tall, shoulders, power handshake, power pose, look in the eyes. They're told to bow down, bow and touch the shoes of the person you're meeting. And when I started studying and practicing a little bit of this, and this idea of bowing, what am I bowing to? Who am I bowing to? Every time I make a decision, I ask myself, to who or to what am I bowing now? Am I bowing to money? Am I bowing to fame? Am I bowing to my parents? Or am I actually bowing to my true self and the truest expression of who I am? Because every day we're going to bow to something. So when I look back at all my big decisions, no matter what decision I've made, I ask myself, if I was back again and if I really believed in myself, if I really was willing to put the work in, what would I have done? And I use that then as an indicator for the future. So when I'm making a new decision in the future, I ask myself, by saying yes to this, to who or what am I bowing? What will this bring into my life? And in order to have this, what do I need to let go of? If it doesn't result in me, this once in a lifetime phenomenon, I'm not my parents, I'm not my brother, I'm not my sisters, I'm me. If it doesn't result in me being healthier and happier, I don't do it. Then we begin to see the magic of the universe. Because the story society have told you is, Jesus, whatever you do, don't do something that makes you happy. You'll never make money out of that. The only way you make money is by slaving, slogging, and doing something you don't like. And if you do that for 40 years and pay enough tax and make millionaires out of the banks with your mortgage, then you can retire at 60, and then you might begin to retire life. You know what? I've no interest in that story. What I've discovered is the more I get in rhythm with myself, the more I get into flow with who I am, the more I fill myself with joy and love, the more I do what I love in a loving way, is the more my business grows. And I have built a business. I've bought a house. I have put food on the table for my children by doing what I love. And if I'd stopped doing what I loved every time somebody said, that won't work, you won't make money, but how about the pension? How about the mortgage? I think deep down we all know the truth is, if you want to be really successful at something, just do what you love. And do it with passion. So the scary part is, if I was to leave my safe, secure job and do something that I love, how will I pay the mortgage? Well, that's a socially created narrative. Because the truth might be, you might make more money than you ever dreamed of. And you might make more money than you ever could make in your current job. And the only person telling you that that's not the case is you. So to let go of something is to embrace something else. So if I let go of safety and security, if I let go of one salary, I'm just going to take another. I'm just going to pick it and away go. And that is how manifestation works. And the difference between evolving and striving is where you're desperately chasing something. And if you're desperately chasing something, it means that your happiness depends on that thing. If your happiness depends on a thing, then it owns you. So now you're a slave to that thing. If your happiness and if your identity doesn't belong to anything other than yourself, then nothing owns you. So detachment or non-attachment doesn't mean that we don't own anything. Of course, we can have a house and cars, and it's nice to have a nice house and it's nice to have a nice car. Of course, why not? It's nice to go on nice holidays. It's nice to eat in a nice restaurant. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't need it. And the moment you don't need it, nothing owns you. So when I say yes to something, if I am to pursue something, it's because the pursuit alone sets me free. The pursuit of the goal brings me joy, brings me love, brings me peace, brings me ambition. And whether I achieve the outcome or not doesn't really matter. What I focus on, am I the right person with the right process? Every single day, am I the right person? Am I following the right process? If we're attached to a specific outcome, then the outcome owns us.